Most people way overcomplicate building businesses, especially e-commerce businesses, but really any kind of business. They think you need a ton of products, a ton of pages, a ton of marketing channels, a ton of activity. I'm here to show you that you can build an entire business with just one page to achieve anything that you possibly want. I'm Matt Clark, and I've sold over $450 million online. And in this special presentation, it's a masterclass on how to do e-commerce funnels. I show you the funnel that we built in our $50 million a year e-commerce business. I also do something a little crazy later on towards the end of the training that I didn't plan on doing until about 2 hours before I started recording this. All right, so this is how to create one funnel that generates all the customer sales and profits you ever need without adding more products, more marketing channels, or more people. So a few months ago, a buddy of mine that I have been friends with since high school, he, has been on some of these trips to go climb mountains in Colorado. Him and his buddy, usually the same one, they always go climb one of these mountains. Something always goes wrong. They're underprepared, some weather hits or something. And so at some point, I decided to sign up for one of these. So we went to climb one of the 14ers, which is a 14,000 foot mountain in Colorado. And so we spent the night in Breckenridge. And then we started the climb the next morning at like 4 a.m. because you want to get up there early before the snow starts melting because it can be kind of a pain in the butt to walk through, aside from the weather, also later in the afternoon. And so we're climbing this thing, and it was just, you start at 12,000 feet. And so you're already exhausted, like 10 steps into this thing. And, my buddy, we made it to the almost to the top, and there started to be like 80-mile-an-hour winds up there. And so we were probably, I think we made it to, like 13,500 feet. So we're like 500 feet from the summit. But there's like this ridge that's just covered in snow. There's 80-mile-an-hour winds. And both these guys, they have young kids, and so they're a little more risk averse. I was like, well, screw it, I'll go for it. So I start going on my hands and feet, sort of climbing up this ridge. And then it's just like so crazy. Like it felt super sketchy. And then I saw this person that had popped over the ridge and came back, and I was like, is it like better around there? Because I was like, if I crawl like another 20 feet, maybe it'll be better. They're like, no, it's actually worse. I was like, okay, yeah, screw this. So we all kind of ended up turning around. And then my buddy who lives in Houston, I have a place in Colorado. I'm in Austin now. And so I'm pretty acclimated to the heights. And he's like, man, he's like, you want to do another one of these? I was like, hell no, I don't want to do another one of these. I was like, this was freaking miserable 3 hours. But then, a week or two later, I'm like, man, I kind of miss it. Like I miss the struggle. And so the reason I bring this up is because building any sort of business or, learning funnels or learning a new skill set is kind of like climbing that mountain. It feels painful and it's a struggle and it's a challenge at first. But once you master this skill set, once you accomplish something, you never want to go back. I remember building my first business and finally achieving success. And I was like, there's no way I could ever go back to a job. Like I've accomplished this thing. There's nothing been more rewarding. And so that's what I hope you get out of what we talk about today is hopefully it's not as much of a struggle, but I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible for you. But you're going to learn how to master the skill set of creating funnels so you can take that skill and really use it for the rest of your business life. My goal is that you're able to build one single funnel. Really, that starts with just one page because we're all in e-commerce. You don't really need multi-step funnels. So one page, a one page that can transform your life, that you can achieve all your business goals. Like I'll show you here in a second, we've been able to build a large business that all started with basically one page. And still, that's probably what matters most in the business. We've added lots of products and other pages and other channels, but it's really all still about that one thing. Once you learn how to master that skill and what I'm calling a forever funnel, because this one funnel, one page can take you as far as you want to go for literally the rest of your business career in a single business or start creating them for new businesses. You never need to do anything else. Your whole life transforms. That's the power of what we're talking about today. So our business, starting with just this one page, has been able to get to about $50 million a year. So this is over the last 12 months. This says November 2024 to October 2025 as of the time when I pulled this. And, this year, calendar year, we've been growing every single month. We're about to hit the holiday season right now. So we'll be well over $50 million in sales in this business. And so this is our results. But what I hope you're able to get out of this is you're able to get all the customers, all the sales, all the profits you ever want from this one page, one funnel that you learn how right here, right now to implement and put in place in your business. It's the ultimate simplicity. A lot of times we overcomplicate things in business. My goal is to make it as simple and as straightforward for you to produce all the sales that you ever want. And that simplicity also has another benefit, very high profitability. Most people, myself included, when I was first getting started, they take ads or whatever traffic channel they're getting and they pepper it all over the place. A bunch of different product pages, a bunch of pages on Amazon, a bunch of pages all over their website. And then they're doing all this work and they only spit out a little bit of money. And they never really get anywhere because they don't really know where to reinvest or how to redeploy that money. And they're just kind of stuck. And they're like, well, I'm producing, say 100 grand a month in sales. I guess I can spend 10 grand a month in marketing and it stays like that for years and they never get anywhere. And so that's how most people end up building a business. A much better way is to take a single page and ideally paid ads, but I also put organic, which my little fancy representation of a dotted line. Also, organic sales is fine too, but really any traffic source, I just kind of prefer paid ads because I can turn them off, turn them on, and really dial them up and down. Don't have to wait on anybody creating content or any of that kind of stuff. And so you take some sort of traffic that costs you something, even organic traffic costs you something to produce, but in ads, it's just easier. So you put $1 in ads and you get $2 out. You throw the ads into a page, out comes $2. That's the entire game. There's nothing else. We could stop the webinar right now and be done with this, and you'll know 90% of what we're going to talk about. You take one of those dollars and you basically just keep reinvesting in your ads because if you put $100 in ads, you get $100 in gross profit out. Then if you put $10,000 in ads, $10,000 in gross profit out, $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, your business just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so what happens with the extra money, all those customers that you're spitting out? You may not get that money up front, but you'll get it eventually. Because even if you're breaking even up front on acquiring new customers, those customers are worth something. And so the next month or next 6 months, when you decide to sell something to them, now you have thousands of customers that you basically got for free. So then you're able to take those customers and use that to grow channels like Amazon. Use it to grow your subscription sales. Use it to grow other channels that you sell on, such as retail or anything else, and to produce a heck of a lot of profit. This is the machine that I'm going to show you how to build during this talk. It all starts with getting one really good page where you can put $1 in and get $2 out. That's the entire goal of this whole thing. And so if you haven't been able to do this yet, if you haven't accomplished this yet, it's not your fault. You're likely just working too hard for too little of a result, too complicated of a growth strategy. Everybody out there, I'm going to give you a little secret, wants you to complicate your business. They want to make things seem hard because that's how they get paid. That's how they get money. That's how they sell their books and that's how they sell their speaking stuff and they sell their events and all that kind of stuff. It's very simple to make this machine work. You just have to apply what I'm going to show you and then keep tweaking as you go along. I mean, it's kind of like, diet. It's really hard to make money telling people to eat real food and exercise a little bit every day. I'm giving you the eat real food and exercise a little bit every day so that you can take this skill and achieve anything else that you want. Anything else you add to your business beyond this is just for fun. It's not out of necessity. Now, why should you listen to me? I mean, most of you, I think, kind of know who I am, but some of y'all maybe don't. I've been in your shoes. In the past 13 years, I've had an amazing chance to travel the world, do lots of cool, fun things because of the success of my businesses. I've been able to meet some of my business heroes like Richard Branson, who went to one of our events and I interviewed him on stage, which was super cool, and Sarah Blakely and John Mackey of Whole Foods and Robert Kiyosaki, all kinds of cool people. And I've been able to create some businesses with over $450 million in sales so far. More importantly, I've been able to reach and impact the lives of tens of thousands of people all across the world. That's what keeps me going right here, right now. And I've got that business I just showed you. That's one of the businesses that I own that's doing $50 million a year in sales and is very healthy and profitable and growing. But I'm still here taking my time to do this sort of webinar because that's what makes it all worth it for me. To me, all those other things are really just a way for me to get smarter and to have lessons that I can share with people like you to help you achieve greater success. It wasn't always this way though. When I was first building my e-commerce business, I was just throwing everything against the wall. I was hustling. I was trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And I ended up with a setup like that one diagram that I showed you with the ads just spitting out all over the place. I literally had 11,000 products in my e-commerce business that I was sending ads to all of them. And so I was driving sales, not too bad for somebody in, how old would I have been? 22 or something, 23, I don't know. I basically took a business from nothing to $2 million a year in sales out of the gate with zero experience, which is great. The problem is I was losing money. I was spending so much on ads. I didn't know what I was converting, what wasn't working, that I ended up with $100,000 in my American Express at 23 years old. And at that point, my back was against the wall. I ended up attending a marketing event in Austin, and that opened me up to this whole world of kind of internet marketing, as you would call it, non-e-commerce internet marketing with sales pages and email copywriting and ad copywriting and all that kind of stuff. This whole world that I hadn't been exposed to because I had only been through e-commerce stuff. Like going to literally Google AdWords seminars put on by Google, which were extremely boring, but that was all I could find at the time. So I go to this internet marketing seminar and I learned real marketing. I learned how funnels actually work. And that's what brought me here today. And that's what allowed me to create the kind of success in e-commerce that at the time they were just using to sell info products and they were doing email marketing to sell courses on email marketing, all that kind of stuff, which is great. They're adding a lot of value to people. I applied a lot of that stuff to e-commerce and starting with Amazon, which is how Amazing Selling Machine was built. But now we're applying it to funnels, which I think is a much bigger opportunity. So who is this for? This presentation, this content that we're going through is for three people that I want to help today. First, established Amazon sellers that are tired of being at the mercy of Amazon. Really quickly, I would love to hear the chat. I'll also let me make sure that nothing weird's going on here. In the chat box, yep, chat is still disabled, Christine. Quick question. Who sells on Amazon right now? Pop that in the chat box. All right, so George, we got Patrick, Leonardo, Anna, Ralph, Preet, nope, does your affiliate marketing stuff. Okay, so a good chunk of people do sell on Amazon, so perfect. So first people that I think this is for is established Amazon sellers that are sick and tired of being at the mercy of Amazon. Second one is established Shopify sellers who want easier, faster, less painful, more profitable growth. I know that unless you're doing 30 plus million a year on Shopify, the stuff you're going to learn here will guarantee you, if you just implement it today or tomorrow in the next week or so, you'll probably increase your sales by at least 30%. Hands down, no problem whatsoever, and be way more profitable. Number three, people just starting out or looking to start in e-commerce who want to master the most important skill in making money in business. So if you're just starting out, if you're a Shopify seller or Amazon seller, this is 100% for you. So my goal in the next 45 minutes or so is to get you to believe that creating a forever funnel, as I call it, is the key to achieving all your business and financial goals. Now, I believe either you create this kind of funnel now using the three secrets I'm about to show you, or you're going to waste so much time working too hard for too little. So hopefully you're here because you want to actually go implement this stuff, not just listen to me talk about a bunch of things, but hopefully you actually go implement this stuff in your business. I want nothing more than for you to go apply everything we talk about here, and then you don't have to give me anything, and then just go back and tell me that you actually got value from it. Go actually use this stuff in the real world and tell me that it made an impact. That's what makes me want to keep going. You can always email us at hello@mattc.com, which I'm sure that's how you got here. So here's what we're going to cover: how to create one funnel that generates all the customer sales and profits you ever need. We're going to cover three different secrets. Secret number one, the one-page empire. Secret number two, the social proof tsunami. Secret number three, the free traffic framework. So this is what we're about to go into. So secret number one, the one-page empire. How to build a 7, 8, or even 9-figure business with one simple page without a big team or outside funding. So as I mentioned, this was literally my old website. It's kind of cool. I can go back in the Wayback Machine or Internet Archive. I Google that, and I can pull up pages like this from like 2009, I think, or 2010. This was actually my website. I was selling vitamins and I was in Texas, which is the South. So I had the brilliant branding name of vitasouth.com, which was kind of terrible in hindsight. But I had 11,000 products, which meant I had 11,000 sales pages. And I spent 7 months as an investment banker, and all I did was learn how to use Excel really well. So I wrote what's called a VBA macro, which is a little script in Excel to spit out 11,000 Google AdWords ad campaigns that were all sending to these individual product pages. Using that system, I was able to get to about $2 million a year in sales. The result was is this was a complete nightmare to run. Couldn't optimize anything. I was just throwing stuff against the wall. I didn't know what was working, what was not working. Tracking was not very good. Then, like I said, I went to that internet marketing event and I came across this guy. And so this is a page back in the day that was called Truth About Abs, run by a super smart internet marketing guy named Mike Geary that's still in the game today. Um, Great guy. And so this is a page that he had that looked like this. I literally screenshotted this. I think I pulled this from back around that same time using the Internet Archive machine. And the page just keeps going and it keeps going. And this is basically his whole sales page. I found this guy and I realized I knew a few people that kind of knew him. Or I think I saw him speak at an event or something. And this site was doing $10 million a year in sales, selling a $47 ebook. One page, this one ugly, long, never ending page that just overwhelmed people with the right kind of copy was doing $10 million a year in sales, selling a single $47 literally PDF. Now, he probably added some bells and whistles and whatnot, and that's not really like the game you can play anymore. But back then, that's what he did. That opened up a huge light bulb in my head of what's possible. So over the years, I've been able to apply that strategies. And then now with our business, Life Boost Coffee, we really have one main sales page that created this whole thing. And then now we've been able to build a $50 million per year sales business. And so that's why I'm super excited to kind of walk you through these steps of building your own one page empire. The first thing to do, here's where you really want to start taking notes. Answer what's in it for me. Sounds super simple, but I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to, coached, given advice to in e-commerce that'll show me their sales page and their headlines just all over the place. It'll talk about something going on with their product, but I'm like, you need to answer, like, what are people going to get out of signing up for this thing? And so our headline looks like this on our main page. Secure your supply of our delicious, immune boosting, low acid, healthy coffee, 58% off today while supplies last. So the what's in it for me, other than the scarcity elements there, 58% off, secure your supply, is the immune boosting, low acid, healthy coffee. So we've tested a lot of different things. We could probably still do some more testing, but that's kind of answering what's in it for me. What am I going to get out of this thing? I'm going to boost my immune system, and I'm also going to have some low acid coffee. Then we have this whole section on there, which don't need to read all this stuff. But basically, I just pulled some data from Johns Hopkins Medicine that talks about the benefits of coffee. Coffee drinkers less likely to die from leading causes of death, contain antioxidant, reduces inflammation, dark roast coffee, decreases breakage in DNA stands, all very specific stuff that is literally reinforcing the idea of drinking coffee. And if you've made it to this page, you already like coffee. So I'm saying it's a great decision. Drinking coffee, perfectly fine. Don't give that up. That's what's in it for you is you're going to be able to still drink your coffee, but you're going to feel better about it. Then we kind of ended up really narrowing in on this stomach friendly angle. And so you're able to drink a coffee now. A lot of our most raving fan customers are, 50, 60 years old. They haven't been able to drink coffee for a decade because it jacks up their stomach. Now they can. So they get to do what they want. I'm reinforcing that drinking coffee is good. And now you're going to be able to do it and actually feel good about it. So the first thing to creating a good page, answer what's in it for me. You've got to lead with whatever benefit or benefits are most relevant to your product. Don't talk about features and all that sort of stuff at first. Start with what the customers are going to get out of your product. Then second, you need something unique about it. You can't come with the 8,000th yoga mat and expect to make any sales. You've got to have a unique spin on it. So this, I believe, is by far the best copywriting book that I've read, probably in the last 5 years. There's some really good ones from back in the day. Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz, fantastic. I think it's probably the number one. But last 5 years, this one hands down. I don't really know when it came out, but I just read it like a year or two ago. It's fantastic. I see a lot of people, picking and choosing sort of like stuff from his book that they've kind of added as like, it's their own now. But I think this was a source material. So this was a copywriter that worked for that direct marketing company, Agora, and his copy drove like $100 million plus in sales. And he's just like a paid gun to write copy. And so he has one section in there that says, the new opportunity is what makes your idea unique. If you don't have one, your idea is worthless. If you don't have something unique you can say about your product, for us, stomach friendly, low acid coffee. We can't just say that it's organic. Everyone has organic. Single origin. Everyone has single origin. Any of that kind of stuff. Tasting notes. Everyone's coffee tastes fantastic. We have to have something unique, and so do you. Way that this really became clear for me was back in the day. This is one of the first products that I sold of my own brand on Amazon, Garcinia Cambogia. It blew up on the Dr. Oz show. And their whole pitch back then was like this magical fruit that was grown off in the rainforest that nobody had ever heard of before. They extracted this ingredient from, and now all of a sudden it melts fat off of you. There's always something, but it's got to be something new. You can't just say, hey, we've got this pill. It's an 800th one of the exact same thing you've tried before, and it's going to help you lose weight. Nobody's going to believe it. GLP-1s, those sort of weight loss products now, same bucket. Got to have something new if you're going to make people actually pull out their credit card and buy. This product, by the way, I pulled this brand just looking for an image search online. It's actually one of our members, one of our very first members. His name is David Paul. He built the brand NatureWise. Super successful. So still at it, which is awesome. But yeah, you got to have something unique about your product. So first, answer what's in it for me. Second, choose your uniqueness. You have to answer the question, what makes this different than anything else I've ever seen? That's what's from that Evaldo's book, the 16-word sales letter. What makes this different from everything else I've seen? Unless you have an answer for that, you need to go back to the drawing board. You can come up with something for any product out there, by the way. It's not like it's impossible for any product, even without changing anything. You just have to find something unique. And so, number three, share all the facts. David Ogilvy, one of the most famous copywriters and advertising executives, he had this ad way back in the day for Rolls-Royce. He basically sit there and I think spent 3 weeks talking with the engineers and stuff at Rolls-Royce to figure out all the facts of the product. He basically put all of those facts inside of a sales letter and just crushed it with sales for this product. And so the next step is, once you've said what's in it for me and also have figured out something unique about your product, is to spell out literally all the facts. That's why that guy, that Truth About Abs page, works so well, because he would tell you literally everything there's possible you could ever want to know about that product and about what it could possibly do for you. And so there's a saying, and I think I have it here in a second, but it's the more facts you tell, the more you sell. And so even if you think that it's something obvious, include it. Doesn't matter. Likely your competitors are not including it. How your product's made, the ingredients that it's made of, how it's shipped, where it's from, the origin, all of that sort of stuff, how the ingredients are grown, even that sort of thing, is fantastic. So for us, for example, we don't just say that it's low acid. We say pH test proven to be up to 27.7% less acidic than common store-bought coffees. Be as specific as possible and share every fact possible about your product. If that makes your page long, as long as you're not just repeating stuff for no reason, but as long as it's unique and interesting facts, then include it on there. It's going to help give people comfort that they should buy from you. I mean, look at Apple sales pages. If you go to an Apple sales page on, apple.com, it's super long. Now, they look fancy and they got stuff jumping around all over the place. Still the same kind of concept. They'll give you all these specific details about every element of the product that you could possibly want to know. So on our sales page, we've got sections like this. We talk about the ingredients, single origin, mycotoxin free, shade grown. Then we keep going. We have a whole nother section on features where we're laying out the facts. High elevation grown, sun dried, fairly traded, specialty bean, pesticide free, chemical free. We go on and on and on and on, talking about all the specific features and characteristics of this product, so people know, oh man, this is a pretty good product. I see this competitor over here that I'm considering buying, and they don't say theirs is just one of these, chemical free, for example. I don't know if I should buy theirs, even if yours is a little more expensive. That's why this thing matters so much. The more facts you tell, the more you sell. So you got to answer what's in it for me. Choose your uniqueness, share all the facts, and fourth, make an irresistible offer, which is simpler than it sounds. There's really just 3 elements. They all kind of come together. So 1 is you got to have a good deal. 2, a risk reversal. And 3rd, scarcity. So this is our page that we sell a mushroom coffee. It just kind of, I liked how it was all laid out in like one section. And so on this page, just the order section, we cover all these elements. So we offer a good deal. We basically threw in all this package of stuff that we say is valued at over $200, and you're getting it all for $59. So that we're giving people a good deal. They're like, okay, yeah, I'll give this thing a try. I've never heard of it before. I don't know if I'll get this deal later. So this seems like a pretty good thing to buy. Second, scarcity. This Black Friday sale, we changed nothing about the offer. All we did was say Black Friday sale, because we always have this promotion running, at least until we change it, but it has been running. All we did was say that, hey, it's for Black Friday. We don't do that on all our products. We run discounts on other stuff that we don't run all the time around the year. But sometimes on a sales page like this that we're just running all the time, we'll just change out that banner and say that it's for whatever holiday. Other people do this as well. We also have the get 72% off Cognition Starter Kit ends soon. So we're also driving scarcity there. So irresistible offer, you got to make people a good deal. You got to have some element of scarcity that lets people know why should I buy now? And third, some sort of risk reversal, which is basically a guarantee. Because you're asking customers to take money that they've worked hard for and then put it on their credit card and give it to you that they may have never heard from you before. You have to be able to reduce risk for customers as much as possible. So we do that with a standard 30-day money back guarantee. You can get fancier, have a fancier guarantee with a name to it and double your money back and whatever you're comfortable with. Kind of that's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. But standard 30-day money back guarantee, and you honor it and you do it every single time. You don't make it a huge hassle for people. Then you get more customers to try it out. As long as you're selling a good product, it's almost always as profitable for you because the number of people who return something, so maliciously or they just, eat half of it and they give it back or something, is very few relative to the increase in sales that you get. So, secret number one, the one page empire, answer what's in it for me, choose your uniqueness, share all the facts, make an irresistible offer. This is Eduardo. He was in a mastermind that we ran for a couple years. He basically took this and applied this to a sales page that he created for his product. And not just because of that page, but his overall sales by implementing a lot of this stuff, we're up over 700 grand in a single year. So before I go on, and I'll take a drink of my coffee, but before I go on, let me know if this is all making sense. Put a yes in the chat box. And just so everyone knows, the chat is disabled. I just have the Q&A on. Yes, yes, yes. So we had a good question. Patrick says, do you see sharing all the facts more relevant for an older audience than Gen Z? No. We're still human. Apple is selling to people of all different ages, and they include these long pages with all kinds of facts. Now, occasionally you may have to have a little short thing that you share with people and whatever. But a lot of people are like, Gen Z's attention span is super low, which I'm sure there's like some level of truth to that because if they're on social media a bunch and stuff, they'll still listen to like an hour long podcast or video or watch people play video games online for like 2 hours or something. So it's not that they won't pay attention to anything. It's that the bar for quality, the bar for making it interesting has just gotten higher. That's why YouTube videos now, they have stuff flying in and they're making quick cuts and all that kind of stuff because the bar for what makes things interesting is a lot higher now. So I think that's what matters more. But overall, people still want to feel assured whenever they're buying something. But good question, Patrick. Cool. So everyone is all good, liking it. My pre Yeah, cool. So Scott says my previous 100% satisfaction guarantee proved very successful, like you mentioned. Sweet. Alrighty, we'll keep rolling here. So that was secret number one, the one-page empire. Secret number two, social proof tsunami, which is my fancy name for this. How to create overwhelming trust and desire to easily convince thousands of strangers to buy from you. So this is Frank Kern. Depending on when you kind of gotten involved in e-commerce, maybe you've never looked at internet marketing stuff outside of e-commerce, but he was a legend. He still is in copywriting, internet marketing. He kind of inspired me to build my own sort of audience and not just do my e-commerce thing because he was talking a lot of cool things about email marketing and stuff. And I attended a talk of his at an event. It was just packed, like, because everyone wanted to hear from him because he's very entertaining and charismatic and just a fun guy to listen to present, also super smart at marketing. And so he was up there talking, and I remember something that he said that stuck with me ever since. He was talking about proof, and he was like, yeah, he's like, if somebody says that they can levitate, you're going to be like, bullshit. No, you can't. You can't levitate at all. Like, there's no way you would believe it. It's crazy. But then if that person starts floating off the ground and floating around the room and stuff, you're going to believe them. And so it's that demonstrable proof is what creates belief. And that's what we're trying to do with our pages. We don't just say that like our product's great, it can do all these things, it's fantastic, everyone loves it. We've got to prove that to people. So that idea was in my head for years of like, oh yeah, I totally get that. It's an obvious thing. You have to actually prove something. You can't just say it, which sounds obvious, but a lot of times, how often do we do that? We make a claim about our product, but do we really back it up? Most often not. And so then, I don't know when this was now, 2019, 2020, or something like that. I attended a little mastermind event over in Arizona, and there's this guy that created this company, Snow Teeth Whitening, that him and his business partner were up there talking. I hadn't really heard of them before, but apparently they were crushing it. And so I checked out their sales page and their Facebook ads, and I noticed something crazy. their whole sales page was just proof. There was like almost very little text and very little copy and all that kind of stuff. It was literally just showing all these fancy influencers and regular customers and celebrities, before and after teeth things. It's just like proof after proof after proof after proof. Happy customer, happy customer, happy customer. They even have that little video at the bottom right with some dentist guy that's like, in my opinion or my guess, I'm not saying for sure, but clearly like a paid sort of thing, which is totally fine. But it was just proof. That's all it was, the entire page. And so I was like, but they were killing it conversion wise, and their business was scaling like crazy. And I was like, this is brilliant. I was like, that's the whole thing here is to add as much proof as humanly possible. And I noticed this. I even found this out, back in the day whenever we were doing all these big, amazing selling machine launches and stuff. Is that, I learned all this copywriting stuff and I was pretty good at it. And I wrote all this copy for, you know, uh, all those course launches and all that kind of stuff. But then I realized like what really mattered is like people actually getting results. If we have customers getting results and we share those results on the page and in videos and whatnot, that does all the heavy lifting. We don't have to write all this copy and whatever. All that stuff is okay. But if we just show people getting good results that are the kind of results your potential customers want to get, your copy's done. So that's why I call this the social proof tsunami. Step number one, get real people to try your product. If you have a business that's just getting off the ground, start with friends and family. Literally just give them the product and see what they think. I told this guy the other day, he's actually one of our old members. He's creating like a brain health product that I think starts with a gut. And he's like, hey, you want to partner on this thing and this kind of that? And I'm like, has anybody used this product yet? And he's like, no, it's not ready yet. I was like, okay, good. I was like, whenever it's ready, get like 100 people to try this product. You don't have to go that far, but he's been pretty successful as a bigger business and whatever. You can get 10 people to try it. But I was like, get 100 people to try this thing and then get their feedback. If they love it, we're off to the races. If nobody likes it, then this thing doesn't go anywhere. You have to fix the product. And so the first thing is to get real people to try our product. That gives you real feedback in terms of text reviews, video reviews, photo reviews. You can just have them holding the product. So that gets your basis for real feedback. So friends and family, or if you already have an established business, get those initial customer reviews. We've been working on a product for a year at LifeBoost that should be ready, hopefully, finally next month. First step, we got to get in some customers' hands so we can get some reviews. So that's all you're doing with step number one. You can also use some websites that are pretty cool. This one is influee.co. That URL is there on that little black background, influee.co. And so that's one where you can go get influencers to review your product. It's fairly inexpensive. Another one, a little bit different, bounty.co. Both of those things, Influee is probably the simpler one. Bounty works great too. It's a little bit different. But basically, you can have these people that'll create content about your product. A lot of times they're attractive, sort of natural, selfie style videos, and they'll create reviews of your product. And those are also a great source of people actually trying it out. So that gives you the first level of proof, getting real people to try your product. Second, use what I call the proof pyramid to create overwhelming trust. And so this is what I mean by the proof pyramid. On any sort of page, you want some combination of text reviews, also including like the typical star rating type reviews that are like embedded in product pages on Amazon, off of Amazon. Did my video shut off? 1 second. I think it went to sleep. Let me switch it to my other camera. Bam. Right. All right, cool. So we're back in the other camera. I don't know why they shut off. But anyway, so you need these different types of reviews. And so the second one is photo reviews, which can be as simple as people literally just holding up your product. And the third one is video reviews. And so this is simple selfie style videos. They don't have to be super well produced, any of that kind of stuff. These are the different kind of reviews that you want all of on your page. Because some people, they really need to be convinced. So they're only going to buy if they can watch a video review. Some other people, they just want to scroll through and see some photos, and some people literally want to read text reviews. And so the kind of ratio that I recommend for these is about like this: 1x, 4x, 20x. So what does this mean? If you have 100 reviews on a page, maybe 80 are text, 16 are photos, 4 are videos. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I've seen a lot of people that may have 50 to 100 like text star rating reviews, but they have 0 photos or videos. But this also means that you don't need 100 video reviews. That's kind of a waste of time because nobody's going to watch 100 of those. You only need a handful of video reviews. Photo reviews, a lot more you can deal with. Text reviews, it's nice to have the big numbers. Thousands of people have bought this, 5 stars, that kind of thing. But nobody's going to read all those. But those big numbers kind of help. So some ratio like this makes sense, which is why I call this the proof pyramid. You need all of these, but you don't need a million of video reviews and so forth. And so we have lots of text reviews. I don't have the numbers with me, but I've added all up before. It's a ton. So we have a lot of different variety of text reviews on there. We've got a lot of photo reviews. These are literally real customers holding up our products that we just asked them to send us. We have some video reviews. So we did this kind of farmers market thing at one point, but it basically just serves the function of having video reviews. And so you want all those level of proof on your page. Then the last piece is to create a testimonial follow-up system to automatically turn buyers into promoters. So you constantly want fresh reviews. If all your reviews have always looked the same and somebody's checked out your page 3 times but hasn't bought, but you don't have any new reviews on there, that could be a lost sale. Also, if they see the last review you posted on there was like 4 years ago, that's also a problem. And so you want an automatic system. The good thing is with Shopify, if you just look up review automation tool or review collection tool, there's a bunch of them. I can't even remember which one we use right now. But very easy. There's a lot of them. They all work great. They'll automatically send out requests. And then you can also build in your own. What I would typically recommend, especially if you have a smaller business, get these text reviews. Anybody who leaves you a text review, have you or somebody else personally reach out to them and ask them for a photo. If they send you a photo, then ask them for a video. And if you need to incentivize them with some free product or whatever, not a bad idea. But that's what I would do. And so typically using some automated system so you can be collecting those kind of reviews on a regular basis. So to get as much social proof as you possibly need, get real people to try your product, use the proof pyramid to create overwhelming trust, and create a testimonial follow-up system to automatically turn buyers into promoters. So this is Derek. When he started working with us, he basically implemented a lot of this stuff, including a lot of social proof that I don't think used to be on his page. Sales up $500,000 in a year after implementing a lot of these strategies. So that was secret number 2. So secret number 1 was one-page empire. Secret number 2, social proof. So you know how to lay out the right kind of page, the kind of content you need on there. You now know how important social proof is, which will make all your copy that much more effective. And then the third one is what I call the free traffic framework. Because remember that diagram that I showed you, put $1 in, get $2 out. This is how that works once you've set up those first 2 things. So this is how to get unlimited free traffic for any product in any market. So when we were first launching our coffee brand, Dave Asprey's, who's spoken at our event a couple times, but Dave Asprey's Bulletproof was kind of our inspiration. There's a lot of, he was putting out a lot of good content about the dangers of conventional coffee, why you should drink higher quality coffee. I was drinking that stuff myself. I thought we could go further. I ended up finding out that my friend and now business partner, Charles, he had a brand selling that kind of stuff. He was always ahead of the curve on health stuff, just sitting there. And people kept rebuying and rebuying and rebuying. So I was like, oh man, I think there's something here. So we kind of partnered up. But the problem is in that space, everyone's selling like $14 bags of coffee. Online, you can make that work in retail because once you ship a whole bunch of stuff in there, it's not like you have to pay individual shipping costs. But that doesn't work online. You can't sell a $14 thing online unless it's super light and small. Otherwise, you're just going to eat it eaten alive. So then I remember talking with my buddy Ezra Firestone, and he mentioned something interesting. He was like, 75% of your customers are never coming back because a typical repeat purchase rate is like 25%. Even if you're selling a great product, only 1 out of 4 customers are going to remember to come back to you or open your emails or whatever to come buy from you again, even if you're selling something good. And so 75% are never coming back. That means you have to get as much money as humanly possible out of customers up front. And so that's what we've done. So that's how we engineered our whole sales process and how we have now, this is last 7 days, an $80 average order value selling bags of coffee. Remember, most people are selling $14 bags of coffee. We're getting people to buy $80 of a good high quality product up front. It's not like we're ripping people off or tricking people or whatever. We're just helping them load up for a good deal. I can't tell you how many of my friends and family, my dad is a paid subscriber. My mom is a paid subscriber. My best friends are all paid subscribers of our product. And their biggest complaint is that they're getting loaded up with too much coffee, but that's all on them. We don't make them do anything, but they love the product. And that's how we've kind of engineered the system is to get people to buy as much as possible up front. And that's how we were able to scale this business with no outside funding. Didn't take any money from anybody else. It's not like we dumped a bunch of our own money in this thing. We in 2018, before I joined, the business did about a couple $100,000 in sales. 2019, we did like 2.5, 2020, 16.5, and fast forward all today, we're doing over 50 million a year and no signs of slowing down. So this is how you do it. First, never let a customer buy just one. This is the downside of Amazon. This is harder to do on Amazon, which is why I like controlling my own sales funnel. So never let a customer buy just one. On our product page, you'll notice that we default to 3 bags. This is a super simple change. If you may have to have a developer to do it, but who cares? There's a million of them. You can go hire on Upwork.com. Have them create an option like this where you default to 3 bags or 3 units or multiple units, whatever's applicable to your product, a bundle of things if that's necessary. Never let customers buy just a single unit if you can help it. And so this is how we default to this. That'll immediately take your average order value up because it's also using something called the default effect. And so there was a study that was not that long ago, and they basically, these researchers had these people going by and they were handing out free hot chocolate. And the free hot chocolate, they basically said, hey, do you want to add whipped cream? When they asked them if they wanted to add whipped cream, only about 10% of people took it. When they gave them the whipped cream by default, like it's already in there, or it's already going to be included, they had to opt out. It was like 100% of people because who doesn't want more whipped cream? Now, they may not have to say, oh, yeah, you don't need to add it because I'm on a diet. But if you just give it to them, you're like, oh, well, great, I get whipped cream. And so this default effect has been proven out in organ donation rates for driver's licenses. Vanguard, proved it out with, enrolling in retirement plans. Results are way higher when it's by default. Disney rolled out something where they wanted to make people somewhat healthier, so they gave them juice rather than soda and a Happy Meal, and that all of a sudden like reduced the amount of Cokes and stuff being drank. And so using this default effect is huge. So we use it on our product pages. We default to multiple units. We use it on our sales pages, default to multiple units. We use it in most cases wherever we offer subscription, just like Amazon does, by the way. We default to subscription. We don't trick people, they don't like it's not hiding that they're signing up for subscription, just like Amazon does, where the box at the top right for a lot of products is defaulted to subscribe and save. We do the same thing on our product pages, which is another tip, by the way. When in doubt, copy Amazon because they're the people who know everything for the most part, unless you're selling super luxury products. But use the default effect in your favor. So never let a customer buy just one. Make sure you offer multiple units or at least bundles wherever you're selling anything, and then default to the one that you really want them to take, likely 2 or 3 units, that sort of thing. Then ask them to throw more in their cart. For us, after we've defaulted to 3 units on our landing page, then as soon as they click, yes, add it to my cart, we pop up this little thing that says, hey, double your order. And so this is getting kind of crazy because they're already adding 3 bags of coffee. Why not add 6? You'd be surprised. Some people add 12 bags of coffee because they want to load up. They don't want to have to think about it. They like good deals. We're basically just offering better and better savings and deals that this is literally the best deal you can get anywhere on the store. So it's kind of a smart thing to load up for customers also who want to do that. So that's what we do. So we ask them to add more stuff to their cart. Then fourth, we ask them to add more after they buy. So this is what's called a one-click upsell. So this is basically after the first order, they've entered payment information, all that stuff is done. We use something called Zipify one-click upsell. There's other ones out there that do similar stuff, but I've been using Zipify forever, and I like Ezra. So Zipify one-click upsell is still what we use. And this is basically just adding them to add more. And the most simple thing to offer is just more of what they already bought. And so in this case, more 3 bags of coffee again. This is how people end up ordering, $80 worth of coffee on their first order. That's our goal. Because that whole machine allows us to turn $1 in to $2 out. That allows us to keep growing our customer base and our ad spend. And then also allows us to launch on other channels such as Amazon, growing subscription and that sort of thing. And now we're going to be launching in retail next year. And this machine is really what supports our Amazon sales also, because we drive a lot of this stuff on Shopify. That's the majority of our sales. But we get so much brand recognition and bleed off because we're basically getting traffic for free that our Amazon sales have exploded. It's grown basically double year over year and keeps growing faster and faster and faster because all these people see us on Shopify and they basically end up wanting to buy from us on Amazon. And that keeps us from having to play the price games and all that kind of stuff over there on Amazon. And so to get free traffic, never let a customer buy just one. Use the default effect. Ask them to throw some more in their cart. Ask them again after they buy. This is Claudio. He implemented a lot of stuff. I think his business was already doing about $5 million a year in sales, mostly Shopify. He implemented some of this stuff, and he said that my sales increased 40 to 50% in a few months after he started applying these 3 secrets: the one-page empire, the social proof tsunami, and the free traffic framework. So quick recap, what we've covered. how to build a 7, 8 figure, or 9 figure empire with one page with just 4 ingredients, how to turn shoppers, strangers into buyers, how to make an offer so good people can't help but to buy, how the same simple steps can be used to sell any product, the easy way to get people to try your product for real proof, the secrets of the proof pyramid to create overwhelming trust, how to automatically get testimonials so you sell more and more and more, how to get customers to load up their carts up front so you can get free traffic from the world's largest social media platforms and scale your business to achieve all your dreams. So I'm going to take a breath here. Is this all making sense to everybody? Drop a yes in the Q&A box. I'm seeing some questions here, so we're going to answer some of those here in a minute. Michael has a good question. Is that funnel hosted by Shopify or do you use another site? Uh, that is hosted by Shopify. It's all in Shopify. We don't use like a third-party funnel system or something. I've thought about before using like ClickFunnels or whatever, but in Shopify, it's all inside of Shopify. You can either use Zipify Pages. There's another one called Replo that's pretty good that I believe is what we use now. As you can tell, like at this point with the business, like I sort of engineer some of the marketing stuff, but as far as technical implementation, that's like 3 levels sort of away from me. So I'll tell our operations person, she'll tell the developers, and then I don't know, there's designers involved, and I basically just get back a page to review. But I believe we're using Replo now. Let's see. Cool, cool, cool. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome. Great to have explained by you, Matt. You're welcome. Fantastic. Cool. And we'll get into questions here in a few minutes. So, what I've shared with you is really just the start of a lot of this stuff. I didn't want this to be a 7-hour webinar. And I ended up doing something very interesting here. So they had a couple options. So who here has been on a webinar before? Let me ask that before I do this. Say, yes, been on webinar. Yes, been on webinar. Yes, 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 yes. Cool, cool, cool. So once I've finished the content or anybody finished the content, what comes after that? Let's see what you think. Do a pop quiz. Stephen says, yes, been on a webinar. The pitch, Simon says. Alex says, the pitch. It's the sales pitch, sales pitch. Yes, the pitch. Offer comes. Offer, offer. Yes, 100%. That is what comes next. And so when I was first creating this, I wanted to kind of build my own personal brand outside of Amazing because Amazing is a lot of it's like focused on beginners. They do a great job over there. I own Amazing, basically 100% of it, but Mike McClary is the CEO of that. So I've kind of like, that's how you've given emails from my domain, mattc.com and whatnot. And so I've set up my own Kajabi account to sell courses, my own payment processor and whatever. So up until about 2 hours ago, that was my plan. So I'm not going to run through this super long, but I'm going to show you what I had planned for you right now until about 2 hours ago. And so I have this program called the Forever Funnel Fast Track. It was going to have some cool stuff in there. I give you a template, cool template that we use inside of Shopify. Then I was going to give you some training, some videos, basically me showing you how to do more of this stuff. Then what did I have next? Oh, some examples. So me kind of getting on calls and sort of showing you examples of different products and businesses that do funnels, all that sort of stuff. And then I was going to give you some AI copy prompts that I use to generate, because I've written a lot of copy. I've read all the books. I've done all that kind of stuff. So I was basically just going to give you the prompts that I use to write copy, the reason I call it AI Copy Companion is because, let me do a different view screen here so it can make it a little bit cooler. We'll do side by side. There we go. So my video is a little bit bigger. But the reason I call it Copy Companion, because I believe that's the best way to use AI, is to do some of the thinking yourself, but then let AI sort of complement it. So I was going to give you all those prompts, all that sort of stuff. And these are the kind of 4 main components. I was going to tell you LifeBoost paid me 30 million, cost a couple $100,000 to create the revised version of our funnel. We used to charge $18,000 for our mastermind, which is like what the last members who joined paid. And then total value of all that, $9,000. This is how we back into the $9,000. And then, you got some bonuses, giving you funnel feedback. Let's see what we got here. 6-month hotline, being able to get feedback from me on funnels. I was going to teach you how we do Facebook ads. Then was going to show you why food and beverage is the best business to kind of build, I think, today, and how I think that should be done and why this is a great place to start. And then was going to do some of those hot seats. So we're actually jump on the call with just 10 people because I can't do this with 1 million people. Show you, go deep dive into your funnel and then basically take those videos and then publish them for the other members of this program to share. And so values of all that stuff all adds up. I think realistically, $25,000. I mean, I've used this stuff to build, $50 million business, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought this was easily worth $2,000. Doors were going to close this Sunday. Gave you a URL to sign up. Do not go to this URL, by the way. I'll tell you why in a second. There's a guarantee here. Then for the live webinar, is only going to be $1,000 just because I like doing stuff for people that are live. Then I walk through the page, all this page, signed up. I've spent hours creating this page, by the way, to get all this stuff ready and going and stuff because it's all outside of Amazing. So I had to do it all myself because I don't have anybody else to do this stuff right now. I didn't want to bug the Amazing people. And cool. So then, yeah, I was showing you that the coupon actually works. And then basically you have three options, which is hopefully to sign up. And then, yeah, was going to kind of walk through all of this. And this is kind of everything that was going to be included. But about 2 hours ago, I decided to do something very different. And so the reason I wanted to kind of step away from Amazing is because, I've reached a point where I've got LifeBoost kind of going and growing. And that business is doing really well. I've got investments, which I've talked a little about with some people. Like that's all going well. Like I don't need to do any of this sort of stuff. Like what am I doing selling these courses and whatever? But I still want to help people. And so that's why I've written some blog posts. That's why I've started to send you all emails. And that's why I was going to create this thing. But I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I don't need the money from this. So why am I trying to sell this thing? So I've decided to do something a little bit different, which is basically just to give all this stuff to you for free. And so it's not all ready yet, but my plan is to basically start releasing this stuff through via email because you're on my email list and also through YouTube. And so rather than charging for all this, I'd rather just give it to you for free. So that's my plan here. We're still going to do Q&A, but just wanted to let you all know that. So there's nothing for sale, none of that sort of stuff. I don't really know how this works, but I see like 1,000 little heart symbols floating up from Zoom, which is cool. So yeah, happy to answer any questions you have. Nothing for sale. But my plan is to give you as much of this stuff as I possibly can via YouTube and also email. So make sure to watch your email. And by the way, do me a favor. If you receive any emails from me that go to spam, mark not spam, because whenever you're kind of sending people stuff from a new domain, Gmail will send stuff to spam and they need to know that you're not trying to like rip people off or whatever. So that would be awesome. But if you got it here, you're probably not getting them sent to spam anyways. But that's what we got. So let me try to go stop sharing. So I should be full screen now. Reduce that headspace. Now let's see what you got for questions. I did have one favor to ask also is that when I send out the replay, I'm going to post it on YouTube. Just share with people. Write a comment, like the video, share it with somebody you find valuable. That's all I really ask for. Scott said, had the form filled half out to buy it. That's pretty funny. Cool. So Nadeem, will you be able to review the landing page we create? So I would send it to, what I want to do is I would like to do some of those live. And so if you have a landing page you would like me to review, email or reply to one of the emails that I've sent you, but email hello@mattc.com. And that's where I will decide if I can jump on a call with you, and then we'll maybe record that and share it with other people. So cool. Let's see. Okay, so Preet says Gmail will move new emails into promotions. Just need to move it to the inbox and all's good. So that would be cool. So Raphael says, does this work only for e-commerce? This works for anything. I mean, we've basically used it to same stuff to build Amazing. And so we did multi-video launch sequences, but we've also done sales pages and that sort of thing. All these strategies work for any kind of business, literally anything you want to sell. Because there's nothing necessarily e-commerce specific. It's just human psychology specific. So as long as you're selling to humans, this will work. Dan says, does it work equally well not on Shopify? This works any platform you want to sell. Yeah, so it works for digital products, which is no problem. Let's see here. Feel free to keep asking questions. I'm kind of looking at the bottom one. So if you asked a question earlier, like I'm going to have to scroll up a whole bunch. Alex says, appreciate it and you. ASM3 here. We met in Vegas and Devin and I are good friends. Awesome. Cool. Thank you for giving away for free. That's truly amazing. Cool. All right, let's see what we got. When will you start to drip these out? My plan is to start as early as next week. So make sure to watch your email and then I don't know the easiest way to make it in my YouTube channel. I'll send it through email. You'll find my YouTube channel, but yeah, we'll get it through there. What about physical products? Yep. How do you come up with a product? So the approach that we've taught in Amazing Selling Machine is still relevant today. Like find something that's already selling well. We've been all over the place. When we first started way back in the day, it was like pick a top 100 product. Amazon got way more competitive. So then we're like, pick something in the top 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever. Same approach still applies. Find something that's already selling well and create something better. That's exactly what we did with LifeBoost. We found that this healthy coffee thing was going well, and we created what we thought is a better version, and that's made all the difference in the world. I would still do the exact same thing today. Amazon's still a great place to learn to find products that are doing well. See if you can find some that are selling a lot, which you can use our tools at Amazing. You can use Helium 10, Jungle Scout, whatever, or just look at the number of reviews that the products has, and you'll see that the you'll be able to see what's going well, and then try to see if you can create a better version of that product. Same approach. Um, Let's see. Dan, no, there's no registration link. You're here, you'll get an access to the replay, but that's it. So here's one. So Patrick says, we'll love to know why you think that food and beverage is the best category to get started. What do you think about supplements? Supplements are also good if you have a unique angle. We've seen some of those do really well. The examples I like to point out are that Athletic Greens, now called AG1, they've done fantastic. Huge brand. I think it's like $1 billion company now, which is crazy. Like I've met the guy once or twice that started that thing. But they've done great in supplements. That's that Armora brand, colostrum, I believe. They seem to have done really well. Element is another good one, and so they create a powdered electrolyte product. They've done really well. To me, there's a little bit of blend over. So like from some of the supplements that you can kind of consume like in powdered form or gummy form, it's blending a little bit into the food space. But food and beverage, I think, is very interesting because few reasons is people haven't been sold as many food products that have all this marketing stuff applied as there has been supplements and other products. Also, Facebook loves you because that same reason. Like, so your quality scores are always off the charts. Customers don't immediately get sort of apprehensive about seeing an ad for a new snack product or something. So those are some of the reasons. The only downside of food and beverage is that you have to make sure you have a product that's light enough to ship economically. Because we've looked at doing like RTD coffee, which is basically just like a 12 ounce, like a Coke can full of coffee that's cold brewed, and that's pretty expensive. And so that kind of really only makes sense whenever you do it in the retail format. Um, so that's the only downside. But if you can make the other pieces work, fantastic. I mean, these brands, like one of the ones that I just pulled up, that Beatbox, they are more of a retail play, but that brand came out of nowhere. It looks like they're going to be bought for like $700 million, which is crazy. But you can create things like protein bars, snack products, all that kind of stuff can be sold online, no problem. So it's a great space, but supplements also very good. Let's see. How much upfront capital do you estimate it takes to launch a completely new brand with your new strategy? I recommend when launching any business to use the least amount of money possible. And so if you don't have some unique situation where you can kind of get inventory pre-funded, which is pretty rare, then I would not try to spend more than like a few grand, or if you're selling a product that's just really hard to get without spending more, 5 to 10 grand. If possible, you could even try to running like a pre-order campaign. The whole goal of business, I think, is to reduce risk as much as possible. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk got all the money in the world. He launches new businesses, and same with Jeff Bezos. But they launch new businesses not with their own money. They get other people to invest. They put some of their own money in there just to kind of show skin in the game. But as much money as they have, why are they pulling $10 billion from investors when they don't just pull that out of their bank account or sell some Tesla stock or whatever? Because they like to reduce risk. And so I think the same thing for you. It's like if you can reduce risk as much as possible um, by ordering just a little bit and getting this machine going, and then sort of slowly ramping up over time. Because your ad spend, you shouldn't need to spend more than like 1,000 or 2,000 bucks on ad spend, and some of that should be coming back in sales to find out if the thing's working or not. If you're spending more than that, then you're probably just wasting money. Which is, if you hire an agency or something, this is what they're going to do all day long, is just try to get you to spend more and more and more and more. Be like, oh no, we got to test a lot of stuff. The results will come later. Don't do that. And so you should be testing every dollar that goes out the door on ad spend and seeing how that works. And if after, 1,000, 2,000 bucks in ad spend, it's not working, pull it back and fix something. So not a ton. Let's see. How do you source food and beverage products? Same way you source anything else. If you look at, whatever product it is, private label, whatever product it is, custom manufacturer, protein bar, private label, protein bar manufacturer, you'll find those online. The process is exactly the same. Usually the manufacturer those has already jumped through all the hoops with the FDA and that sort of thing. So it's no different than any other product. What is the name of your YouTube channel? Should just be Matt Clark. I believe it's, let me see. I think it's youtube.com/Matt. I'll post it in the chat, or in the Q&A, I think. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. I think you all can see my chat, right? If I post that to everyone, should be there, but worst case, I'll send it out through email. With you moving on, will ASM still be around for the coming years? Yep. So Mike and the team are still doing a great job creating that. It's a lot of heavy lifting, getting people started with new brands from scratch. So they're still doing that. Fantastic job. So it's not going anywhere. For umbrellas, which is so unique, innovative, but don't have more other products for upsell, will it work with your funnel? Yeah, so as long as you have something unique you can say about the product, even if it's an umbrella. I mean, look at the company Away. Away, the pandemic really hurt them, but before that, and I think now they're doing great, but before that, they were just on ripping it. And all they're doing is selling suitcases. They're just kind of cooler designs. And so they were able to like really crush it. And so umbrellas to me fits in the same category. If you got a basic black umbrella with nothing unique about it you can ever say about it, that's not going to be the best business long term anyway. So you want to fix and improve that product. But as long as you have something unique about it, at least that other people don't talk about or speak about, same process can work. Hey, what's up, Philip? Good to have you on here. Philip and I go way back. Philip Jepson. Already found some missing elements. Great. So we're using Shopify template now, but can be tweaked. Good, good. Awesome to hear, Philip. Cool. If you want to ever do one of these funnel reviews, definitely shoot me an email. I mean, I think you have, probably all of my emails, but you can also email the one that I'm giving out here, hello@mattc.com, and we'll be happy to review your funnel, hopefully live. Would you say it's easier to launch via Meta or TikTok Shop? What CAC can one expect on Meta for on subs, food and beverage? I have less experience with TikTok Shop. Like we pushed really hard on TikTok for Life Boost, didn't work out that well. I know some people know a lot about TikTok Shop. Like we've tried it and all that stuff, but it's not really been that much of a thing for me. So somebody else is probably better to go to for that. So I would always go to Meta just because it's kind of like the bread and butter of building an e-commerce business. And so as far as a customer acquisition cost, it depends on your ad spend. Like at first, you should be able to get a customer acquisition cost of like $30 with low spend. As you ramp up spend, your cost goes higher because Facebook has to find you a broader and broader audience. But that's a good starting point. How many ad creatives do you start out with? I typically recommend maybe like five completely different concepts, like some images, some videos, some talking this angle, some talking that angle, and then find the best one that's working. Double down on that one while you keep testing other ones. 205 here. So probably just answer like one more question. Do you link the landing page to Google Ads also? Yes. So we do both. Some of our Google Ads will send people to a landing page and some people will send to the product pages. Because Google, it depends on the type of traffic. Some of it, we're running ads on YouTube, some display stuff, and some of it is people are literally looking for like organic or low acid coffee or something. So sometimes we'll send them just to the product page, but on there we basically do both. Is there an opportunity to work directly? Do you do private or group coaching? Not right now, Michael, but feel free to send me an email at hello@mattc.com so I can learn more about what you got going on. How would you recommend going about selling a not so popular product that's necessary for the services I sell? Not 100% sure what you mean. Let's answer one more here. Listicles versus VSL versus landing page that's product focused. Which to test first? So kind of a bit of an advanced question, but for most e-commerce products, I would start with a landing page just like ours. It's kind of dependent on price. And so if your price is less than $100, which is most e-commerce products, then just do a page like ours. Pretty much text-based, throw in a few videos that are more testimonial type. You don't need a whole sales video or VSL, as you said, video sales letter. You don't need that on there. I would just have a standard page with headline, benefit bullets, all the facts and features, all the social proof, a good offer, a guarantee, and like that's it. And go straight from there to the checkout. The whole listicle thing, to me, like some people do it and it works great. I've never been able to make it work. That funnel is like so complicated. You have to have this weird list page, then you have to have another page and then another page. Um, Other people have been able to make that work. I've never been able to make it work, and I've probably tried it like 4 or 5 times in different businesses over the past like 15 years. So I would just start with what we have now. So that's it for now. So thanks everyone for joining. Like I said, we'll get you out a replay here, and then excited to share more of what's been working with me, and hopefully I can help you grow your business here. So I'll send out this replay hopefully by tomorrow. Appreciate you all being here, and see you soon.